Hey Warcraft, it's me again. Where Blizzard Activision went wrong is kind of where society went wrong. And that is, it should have all been open source. And that brings us to this thing right here. Do you guys see this thing? This is no ordinary computer. Okay, this is a Librem 14 from the Paranoid people. Okay, the Paranoid people made this. And so it's running Linux. Okay, now that is, it has the Intel Management Engine disabled. It's running FNCF endorsed GNU Linux. Okay, and that's how you know that it's a good computer, because it's like entirely open source, so you can be like free of the stupid bad people. Okay, so now on getting free of the stupid bad people, I spent all this time trying to rewrite, Warcraft 3 so I could do my hobby on my computer that I own. And then I realized, you can spend a couple of weekends and you can rewrite World of Warcraft just the same, with kind of the same code. So you can see I put the background of World of Warcraft and stuff on here, but where it really gets good, if I go to custom games and we can pick, as you can see, there's two maps. There's Azeroth and Kalimdor. So like if we click on Azeroth over here, it should open up Azeroth. It has a little bit of a loading time. It's open source. There's no graphics card, but I don't really need a graphics card, because all we really want to do is like play World of Warcraft without the bad people getting in the computer. This computer has a hardware switch here that turns off the Wi-Fi. So if you look, there's no internet. We've hardware killed the Wi-Fi. They can't get us. Okay, there's no private server because there is no server. I'm just playing single player. Okay, that's how it should be. Loading time is a little bit slow, loading subtitle text here, but it's gonna get there. It's gonna get there. You can see the fire just disappeared. It's on its way. Okay, great. Now it's loading in. By default, I guess I start in the hinterlands. That was location 0. I tried changing the outfit on this elf, and the hair is failing to load, and it's kind of annoying. I thought I fixed it. So we need to fix the hair on our character. But if you like WASD around here, it's pretty good. You can like run into the fence over there. Look at that. I mean, that's great. I'm free, dude. I can do whatever I feel like. I can run wherever I want to run. Do you see how great that is? Like, what even? All you guys are like giving Ian Hazard-Costas money. He's gonna delete all your items. I don't have any items yet, okay, because I didn't program that. But as soon as I program my first item, dude, I'm gonna be able to keep that for the rest of my life. Oh, sorry, I tried to put the camera on my shoulder. I just keep thinking like, dude, this is freedom. I'm like, I do whatever I want over here. Linux computer, man. I got physical objects. I can run into the tree. See that? And then like the camera will clip against the tree. See how cool that is? Dude, we're free. I even got water. Did you know that Warcraft 3 water and World of Warcraft water are basically the same? So I'm actually still using Warcraft 3 water, dude. It's great. Okay, and that just proves that we should open source World of Warcraft. Why not? I just ran on a tree, because I don't actually use the exact tree hitbox. I didn't care that much. I just fed it into the Warcraft 3 simulation or something, whatever. It doesn't really matter that much. I feel like this is great, dude. This is gonna run on my computer in 10 years. Okay, when all of Ian Hazard-Costas is gonna retire, his computer is gonna shut down, and all you guys are gonna have nothing. You're gonna be trying to make private servers. They're not gonna work. You're not gonna know how they work. But meanwhile, I'm over here in the hinterlands, and I can come to the hinterlands as often as I feel like. Sorry, this is actually Hillsbrad. This is not the hinterlands. So obviously I need a map. I need to build a map. I didn't do that yet, but That's okay. Hillsbrad is cool. I'm okay. I was thinking Hillsbrad anyway. Look at the ocean, dude. I can go over here to the ocean. There's like birds. You see those birds? Look at how cool that is. Now I should probably plug in a mouse. That would make this easier. But dude, this is great. This is great. I can run all around the world. I can chase the birds, dude. And now all we need is some combat. But I mean, it's literally like it's the Warcraft 3 simulation, so we already have combat. You just use Warcraft 3 combat. That'll be fine. Where'd I go over here? If I do like a Warcraft 3 view. You know I'm on this coastline somewhere. Probably not that far. Oh yeah, wherever this thing is. That would be where I was. Yeah, see, look at that. I'm a Warcraft 3 unit. I'm a Warcraft 3 unit right there. Land to defend. You know, like, this is great, dude. Why... This is how you get freedom for the human species. This is how it should have been all along. Okay, why did no one else think of this? Like, I don't understand. Someone else must have thought of this. They must have disappeared off the internet. You know, like, what are we doing? Anyway, I got a Lua interpreter hooked up to this so I can load the interface, but I didn't really add a lot of game behaviors. So, like, we need to make the 6 bag slots show your 6 Warcraft 3 items. We're going to have to be doing that next. Yeah, it would really like, I'm also thinking, I got this idea, it would be pretty cool. I think that when I go in the water and I push some kind of hotkey, it should summon up a boat so I could get a boat mount. And then I can just boat around in the water. That would be pretty good. I didn't do that yet, but I feel like that would be great. That would be a good thing to have. So yeah, there you go. I mean, you guys see what I'm talking about, right? This is great. Alright guys, I'm going to teach you my special moves. So if you look over here, you'll see that we are well on our way. I don't know what all these eggs are. We're well on our way up to Dunmoreau. The secret to getting to Dunmoreau, however, involves wall climbing. This is a very expert climb. It requires a lot of war smash skills. You just run at the wall and then you do one of these. I believe this might be what they call the Dunmoreau Airfield. It's a wonderful little place. Obviously, I got up here by flying. You know, I mean, how cool is that? You can go over here and you can walk around Dunmoreau Airfield with the airships. I think that's cool. I ought to make it so I can actually, like, you know, run around on one of these airships. That'd be pretty fun. You know, stand up here, give it an engine, dude. All we need is, like, gyrocopter from Warcraft 3. We already have that. This is a Warcraft 3 simulator. Alright, well, I'm over here in the airfield. That is supposed to be an underground passage to Ironforge, but somebody didn't draw it in correctly, you know? It didn't get drawn in. It's unfortunate. I mean, I think it's really cool to be up here. Dude, look at that. Now I'm here at this frozen lake. You know, that's pretty good. Walk around the frozen lake. Frozen river by the frozen lake. Now, if you'll pardon me just a second. Okay. Yeah, suppose I walk along this frozen river. You know, we might even be able to listen to some music while I'm here. You know, like, get some of these. Look at that, guys. I could run up to Ironforge, you know? Yeah, look at that. Can run right up to Ironforge. This is like the stuff of dreams, dude. Get on my Warcraft 3 and run to Ironforge. Ridiculous. I'm literally running up the road to Ironforge on my Warcraft 3 simulator. Just gotta fix WMO files so we have the entrance. There's the birds in the sky. It's pretty great. Oh, I accidentally fell in some kind of geometric hole there for a second. But you know, I made a video where I was on something like this previously, and it was fake. It was a little tiny Warcraft map just rendering a little area right in front of Ironforge right there. But now I can just go down the road to Nomergon area or something. You know, just follow the road. Why not, dude? Get the whole game. Why not? This is great. I've got the mouse controls, you know. Got the spacebar to jump. This is great. You know, this game will always be there that I can go and play it because it's on my Free as in Freedom Linux computer running a distribution endorsed by the FSF. You know, it's always gonna work. It's great. The road just keeps going, you know? There isn't an end of the road anymore, dude. We just load the entire world. Why not? Just need to fix Nomergon. Oh, what did I ran into something there. I'm not quite sure what I ran into. So obviously the problem with trying to go to somewhere like Nomergon is that we don't have the WML files loaded in, but might as well just start loading those. Ah, yeah, that one there would be the actual Nomergon. The other one's a little known building, I'm sure. So I guess my point is, you know, I look at something like this and I think, this is great. I just need, you know, push 1 to shoot a fireball. That's not hard to program. That's really all we need. How did no one think of this? How did no one think oh, we should open source World of Warcraft? This idea never occurred to anyone. Or they just didn't try, maybe. I don't know, maybe they didn't try to make it. Look, I can run around this frozen lake. In 10 years, if I want to come back, I can come back to this frozen lake right here by running this same code from this code folder. You know, why not? Open source is how it should be. We should try to get all the code to be open source. This is great. It's a really nice map. You know, whoever drew this map was working pretty hard. But the best part is, some people, when they play World of Warcraft, the whole operating system of their computer is owned by the World of Warcraft owner. So you know it's going to go wrong for them. But for me, you know, here I am. I've got these little lanterns. You know, I've got my character, and the operating system is not owned by Microsoft, and the code that I'm running is not Microsoft's code. You know, that's pretty cool. Now, if we can just fix some of these like Keranos buildings to load in, you know, that would be great. We're gonna obviously wish that we had the tunnels to run through. That when you get up here, you could go through one of those tunnels. I guess right now it doesn't do that. How about that? There's a little bird flying by. Look at that bird. Open source World of Warcraft. Should have been working on this like 10 years ago. You know? Definitely. I think you guys get it. I think you guys get it. What we have here, this open source World of Warcraft, the little world for this little character to run around in. You know, these things happen as a result of when I have a moment to myself to do something I feel like doing. And this is a really cool project to make open source World of Warcraft like this. I think that, you know, I didn't quite anticipate exactly how fun it would be, but a lot of the time, you know, you get it's easy to be busy in life and not really have the time to make something like this. But I think it's very cool I had the opportunity. You know, a lot of the formats, the understanding of this game data, is actually published online by other people who researched it already. So the way that I can run around a map like this, it's literally just a result of reading other people's guides. So it's kind of interesting to think we're sort of already there. Like maybe World of Warcraft was open source under everyone's nose already, and they just didn't know it. But I think it's pretty fun. You know, if you get an opportunity to do something like this and to run around, that typically, you know, when that happens, it's kind of rare. You know, my time is going to go away here pretty soon. I'm not going to be able to keep doing this, probably. It's funny how that works. Sometimes I could tell myself a story that maybe there's like a conscious AI over there that's like planning, you know, to make it that you can't get the time to do this. But if you do it with an open source type of computer, now actually open source, if you spend a lot of time with the freedom fighters, you'll realize that open source is actually not a really good term. It was invented by businesses, probably to co-opt what was actually happening with software to turn it even more evil. So, you know, if you're really smart and you figure out that open source even is a misguided term, and what you really want is freedom software, like software where you have the freedom to do whatever you want, you know, like GPL, like do whatever you want, like you know, good stuff. That's probably where it's really at, and perhaps a better goal. So yeah, I mean, I think that it might be that Sorry, I think we messed up the simulation for a moment there. There we go. Yeah, anyway, freedom software, dude. You want to have freedom. That's what you really want. Like the essential software freedoms, like the freedom to modify the code, the freedom to read the code, the freedom to publish the modified code if you feel like doing that. What's the fourth freedom? You guys got to put it in the comments. What's the fourth software freedom? Alright, let's see. I'm trying to navigate over this mountain to see where we end up over here. You know what I mean? Oh, this is probably not where we wanted to go. We're getting there, though. Yeah, let's go check out Loch Madon. Loch Madon always looks pretty cool, you know? And this computer doesn't even have a graphics card. It has a disabled Intel Management Engine computer processor, dude. From the Freedom Fighters. You gotta get your software freedoms. That's pretty important. Yeah, so you gotta get your software freedoms, dude. This is running on a computer with a disabled management engine. Okay, disable the Intel Management Engine. The Intel Management Engine runs Java. I didn't know this, but apparently every single computer, like if you buy an Intel processor, it has a second processor on it to let the government stalk you, and the government's programmers are so bad they use Java on it. Okay, and that just proves that using Java to make this open source rewrite is a good idea, because the people spying on you are running Java inside your computer in the second secret processor that you don't even know how to turn off, dude. And that just proves that Java was not an issue all along. The issue is the software freedoms. You gotta have the software freedoms. Once you have that, you can be like me. You can go to Theranos in Loch Madon over here. You can do that, and you can come back to Theranos as often as you like. You can inspect the code and think, why don't the buildings of the dwarves load? And then you can go and fix it so it does load the buildings of the dwarves. You know, and that's all the more reason that you should try to get the software freedoms so you can fix those dwarven buildings. You know? That's what you want to do. Fix the dwarven buildings. You can only do that if you have the software freedoms. You know? There's the lock of Loch Madon. How cool is that? We can walk the whole world and the performance is fine. Okay, the lag is in the video recording software, dude. They're making it pretty hard to record videos. They don't want you to put this on TikTok, whatever that is. That was a bad idea. We shouldn't have made that. Should have made open source World of Warcraft instead. Except open source, there I am saying that term again. See, it should be freedom software World of Warcraft. Dude, free. You know, like American ideal of freedom. Like, something like that. We're gonna get there.